What's up, guys? We're back with another comparison, and for you guys asking about the Redmi Note 10 Pro, we do have that coming in a few days, but I'm trying to get these G8X comparisons out of the way before we get to that video. I'm super hyped about that because I'm a huge fan of the Note 8 Pro. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think this is a pretty interesting decision to go with here because I think we have to take a lot into consideration with the price of specs here. So the V60 by itself will run you around 400 bucks, and that is, again, by itself without the dual screen case. The dual screen case will be extra. The G8X, if you get it brand new, it'll cost you around $429, and that again comes with the dual screen case as well. But if you want the G8X refurbished, then you can get it for 200 bucks. So significantly cheaper than the V60. So that is something to take into consideration when comparing these two. So let's get into it, starting off with the hardware. Both of these phones have an excellent premium design. They're both glass and metal phones. The V60 is definitely obviously heavier and a much taller device as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more compact, if you want that sort of dual screen experience, you don't want it to be super massive. Both of these phones have stereo speakers as well as the 3.5mm jack with the quad DAC, USB Type-C, and then we have the same button layout on the left-hand side with our volume rockers and our Google Assistant button. Let's talk about display quality. So on the V60, we have a massive 6.8-inch POLED HDR10 Plus display. It's 1080p 395 for the PPI. On the G8X, we have a 6.4-inch OLED display, HDR10 1080p 403 for the PPI. So as far as display quality, they both pretty much look the same. They have the same resolution and pretty much the same PPI as well. So I'm not really seeing any type of difference with display quality. Again, the deciding factor is pretty much if you're going to get the dual screen case for that true multitasking experience. Do you want a bigger or smaller experience? And also it comes down to, do you want a slightly smaller phone, or do you want a massive phone? Because I wouldn't say the G8X is a small phone at 6.4 inches, but it's definitely not as massive as the V60. So display quality, they both look really good. They both give off really vibrant and nice colors, very deep blacks as well. And yeah, you do have the little notch on both of these phones as well, the little water drop notch, which is fine. It's not a huge deal, and they look like they honestly have the same amount of bezel as well. But as far as just colors and everything, brightness, they both seem to be on par. You can see they both look really good. Alright, so let's go over some more specs. We've got Android 11 freshly on the V60 not too long ago. If you want to see all about that update, I have a video on that. Android 10, we're still waiting for the G8X to get it. It will get it this year, but it's not, you're not going to get it as fast as we got it on the V60 in Velvet. And also, we have the Snapdragon 865 on the V60. We also have micro SD support, 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM on here, again with the Adreno 650 GPU. On the G8X, we have the Snapdragon 855, Adreno 640, micro SD support, 128 gigs of internal storage and 6 gigs of RAM. So as you can see, the V60 is obviously going to be the slightly more powerful phone here. Let's go ahead and get a quick speed test in here. So overall, I'm expecting the V60 to be faster and to have better RAM management as well, because you do get an additional 2 gigs of RAM. So again, if you're a hardcore multitasker, the V60 will be, I think, slightly better for just going really hard with switching and keeping applications open. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do Subway Surfer here. And again, it's kind of it's a little noticeable difference, but again, the Snapdragon 855 to the 865, it's not massive, upgrades. Let's try Instagram. 3, 2, 1. V60 slightly faster. Tempo Run, but you can see the G8X is right behind it. V60 again here. And again, I think this will be the more noticeable with RAM management, but again, that's if you're a heavy user. But I think both these phones, as you can see, are just blazing fast. But the V60, you know, just a hair faster here. Let's go ahead and try an actual game. Let's get into PUBG. 3, 2, 1. You really should notice a huge difference in graphics performance here. We'll go ahead and check the settings, but honestly, they both play games at high settings, no problem. So whether that be PUBG, Call of Duty, Fortnite even, you will be able to have a really good gaming experience, as we can see already on the V60. So that was actually a pretty decent amount of time there. Let's go ahead and get into a game. And V60, G8X right behind it. So graphic performance should look about the same here on graphics. We can go to Ultra HD, and with the G8X we can go to Ultra HD. I have to download it in the lobby, it's saying. But yeah, so you get the same performance essentially on both of these phones. So if you're a gamer, there is no real difference with performance here. It looks great, they're gonna play great, same screen, same everything. So gaming performance is going to be awesome on both of these phones. Alright, let's get into the speaker test. Now the V60 still has, I think, the second best speaker that we've had on the channel, just next to the Rogue Phone 3. But they both have stereo speakers, and the G8X, from what I've heard, sounds good, but I haven't heard these side by side. So let's go ahead and give it a go here. So, you know, no surprise, the V60 is much louder and has a way fuller sound, which again is not really, you know, a surprise here. The G8X does sound really good. It's just doesn't sound anywhere near as good as the V60 as far as just the fullness with the sound, the bass quality, everything sounds super crisp. I guess compared to it, the thing I would say is that the G8X sounds a little bit flatter compared to the V60 overall. It just doesn't thump as hard. It doesn't have the fullness. But still, so, you know, if you want the better speakers, the speaker quality is something that you hold in high value, then the V60 would be the winner here. Let's talk about your additional features. So you do have an in-display fingerprint sensor on both of these phones, which works pretty much identical. They're pretty much the same. One is not faster than the other one from what I'm seeing. They both have the always on display. As you can see, I always get asked about that. Most phones with the OLED or AMOLED, they're always going to have always on displays. It's usually IPS displays where, you know, they usually don't, excluding like a G7. But let's keep going. So we have IP68 dust and water resistant on both of these phones as well. So if you drop it in the toilet or, you know, it's raining, they get wet, they won't break immediately. So you don't have to have that anxiety about these phones. And also you have NFC on board with both of these phones, the dual screen case capability on both of these phones, the 3.5 millimeter jack with the quad DAC for high quality audio as well. So if you got a good pair of headphones, you get amazing sound quality, some of the best on these phones. And also, these phones don't have face unlock, which kind of sucks, but they pretty much have everything else that you would really want. Screen sharing is on here, as well as screen recording is built in. You do have, what else is on here? Your DTS 3D surround sound is on here, so it has the same, pretty much the same features on both of these phones. Also, the V60 does have pen support as well. So if you get a stylus, it actually has the software for the stylus to take advantage of, which is pretty cool. So if you're somebody that likes to navigate their phone with a stylus, then the V60 would be really good for that as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the cameras on both of these phones. So to give you the short answer, which camera is better, it's going to be the V60 from taking photos with both of these phones. And I'll show you these stills and stuff right now, but the V60 does have a 64 megapixel standard, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, a 0.3 TOF depth sensor, as well as 8K video, and you also have a 10 megapixel selfie camera. And I just love the V60's cameras. I really like the front-facing camera on the V60 as well. It gives off really natural looking colors, which is something I love. And both these phones actually do a good job with natural looking colors, giving you more realistic image processing. So you get good detail, good depth of field, dynamic range. The V60 is really good camera phone, especially at this price point. The G8X, it's not like it's terrible by any means, and it actually is pretty close to the V60 in terms of quality, just not as good. But you do have a 12 megapixel standard and a 13 megapixel ultra wide, 4K video with a 32 megapixel selfie camera that also shoots in 4K on the front. So the V60 does beat it in resolution when it comes to video quality. Of course, you get that 8K video, but as you can see, G8X pictures are really good. You can see you get, again, good image processing with the colors, good detail with dynamic range. The ultra wide takes really good photos. The selfie camera, the only thing I notice is that I do prefer like the selfie 100% of the time on the V60 over the G8X. But yeah, they take great photos on both, but V60 definitely the better camera here for sure. Alright, what about battery life on both of these phones? So with the V60 you have a 5,000 milliamp battery, wireless charging on here as well. With the G8X you have a 4,000 milliamp battery with wireless charging as well. So battery life is going to be better on the V60, and it depends though. So whether you're using the dual screen case or not, it is going to depend, but you can easily, like the phone by itself can go easily from 9 to 10 hours of screen on time, which is absolutely crazy. And again, this phone does have 5G capability, so that is going to, you know, differ, but excellent battery life. You have better battery life overall on the V60. Now on the G8X you can squeeze around 8 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time on the G8X, and again that is going to vary whether you're using the dual screen case or not. But as far as just raw battery life, just using the phones by themselves, and we're going to say not on 5G because this doesn't even have 5G, the V60 is going to be the better phone for battery life. It's just really amazing. Like the standby time on the V60, everything is just really awesome on the V60 when it comes to battery life. So definitely I give it to the V60 in the battery life department. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.